For the past 2 months, I've been writing a book, and it's going to be in your hands before the end of this year. So, how did I get here? Well, in 2021, I went through a workshop called Hero on a Mission with Wes Gay, also a book by Donald Miller, also something I offer at Waves Business Coaching. And during Hero on a Mission, one thing that I did was I made a life plan. And in that life plan, I wrote down that I wanted to write 3 books before I die. So, lifelong goal by the end of my life, I want to become an author and I want to have authored 3 books. It's something that my granddad, my papa, has done. Jake Redman, this is one of his, I think, 7 or 8 books that he's written. And it's something that I wanted to do before the end of my life. But I ran into a problem. What do I write about? Who do I write to? When should I write a book? Like, at what age is it acceptable for me to become an author? I feel like I'm young, and who do I write to? But I figured if I'm going to write 3 books, I have no idea how long this takes. I assume that it takes years. And so I needed to start my first book sooner than later. But again, what do I write about? Who do I have the authority to write to? Is someone like my granddad, who's an older age, why would he want to read my book? Like, I feel like I didn't have the authority to write to an older audience. And I'm young. I don't want to pretend to be an expert in an area where I don't have the experience that someone else has. But this was a dream of mine. And I felt like everyone deserves a chance to accomplish their dream. And I was going to figure out a way to pursue mine and get this started. So when I was with Chick-fil-A in 2021, after I decided I wanted to become an author, I told my boss at the time, Joshua Jones, I told him about it. And he just recommended, hey, reach out to Mark Miller. Mark Miller was with Chick-fil-A for a long time. He was a vice president within the organization. He's written a ton of books. His most recent book I have right here, Culture Rules. And Mark's been a very successful author. So why not reach out to Mark? And Chick-fil-A is an incredible company where I felt like I could reach out to anyone and put time on their calendar. So I reached out to Mark, and we actually got to talk on the phone over lunch for about an hour. Mark Miller walked me through his writing process, how he comes up with the ideas for his books, how he launches a book. And it got me really excited. But number one, I felt like I didn't have the time that Mark had. I didn't have the team that Mark had to do research. And Mark's very good at what he does. And he didn't start off that way. And obviously he had to write his first book, but was super grateful for the time, very inspired by Mark, but still felt like I have pages of notes, but when am I actually going to get this started? So my first book, me becoming an author, got put on the back burner for about a year and a half to 2 years. This past summer on my birthday, every year on my birthday, actually, I write down my 1 year vision as a part of Hero on a Mission. So I go birthday to birthday instead of January 1st to December 31st. But this year I was like, you know what? I got to do it this year. By my birthday in 2024, I want to have my main idea for my book, and I want to have started my rough draft. So nothing finished, just I want to have my main idea, and I wanted to have started writing. Like, I just need to sit down and write. So I did. In July, I was like, I came up with a topic, and my idea for the book was, my journey with Chick-fil-A had come to a close at this point. I had spent 10 years, a decade with Chick-fil-A, both in the restaurant for about 7 years, the support center for 3 years. And what if I just write, 10 leadership lessons from 10 years at Chick-fil-A? That's the main idea. But obviously, I couldn't put Chick-fil-A in the titles. So how is that going to work out? Didn't matter. I wrote out every year at Chick-fil-A that I spent and one leadership lesson learned from each of those years. So those were my chapter ideas, those 10 leadership lessons. And I just started writing chapter 1. I wrote chapter 1. I started chapter 2, and business got busy and it got put on the back burner again. And when I looked back at it, I didn't think it was that good. So again, I kind of ran into this motivation issue that I couldn't get over, and I didn't touch it for months. So since becoming a Business Made Simple certified coach with the Business Made Simple organization, I mean, I'm around an incredible author and around his organization all the time. So Donald Miller, writer of Blue Like Jazz, this was his first huge hit. Building a Story brand, has sold millions of copies now. Don is an incredible writer and an incredible storyteller. And being around that organization again, motivation got back up and got inspired again to, I want to be an author. I want to be at Don's level. I want to be at a place where I can help other authors one day. Like, I need to make this happen. So this past October, Don and his team held the Made Simple Summit for all the certified coaches like me and all the story brand guides. And at that summit, I met my new friend, Jake Brown. Jake had just recently published his book called Leaders Hit, How to Survive a Bad Boss and Have Fun at Work. And the book was great. It was memoir style, hilarious stories, very, very well done. Like, did not look like a self-published book. So I just asked Jake, like, hey, what was your writing process like? How did you accomplish this? And he recommended this book called Published. Published lays out a plan how to go from blank page to 10,000 copies sold by Chandler Bolt. And this book is what inspired me to finally buckle down and get my first book finished. So the plan is very simple. It showed me how to get my ideas out, what to cut, what to keep in, go to my target audience, outline my book, and to start writing. So for the past 2 months, I've been working on my book. And every week or two, I'm going to come on here and share an update about how my book journey is going and share the progress that I've made on my book. I'm going to accomplish one of my lifelong goals of becoming an author this year. And the problems I initially encountered have been solved. So I wondered, what am I going to write about? Who am I going to write to? What audience do I have an authority to write to? So I'm going to save the main topic of my book for another video. I'm going to save my main ideas for another video, but let me tell you who this book is for. If you are a young person working your first job, or you're a young person about to apply to your first job, or you're about to enter the workforce, I wrote this book for you. If you are an employer of young people working one of their first jobs and you're employing those people, I wrote this book for you to give to your team. If you are a person of influence or a parent of young people who are about to apply to work their first job, I wrote this book for you to give to them. I cannot wait for this book to be in your hands. If you want to continue to follow along with my journey of writing this book, be sure to hit subscribe on the YouTube channel, or there's also a link in the episode description for you to give me your email address, and I'm going to be sending out updates as far as how progress in the book is going to that email list. That'll also be the place for you to be one of the first ones to find out about the book launch and information coming out about the book, like opportunities about being a part of the launch team, if that's something you're interested in. So there's a link in the episode description. If you want to stay up to date with the book and be the first to receive updates, be sure to click that link. In the next video, I'm going to show you my mind map and how I came up with the main topics, chapter ideas for the book, the main idea for the book, the target audience, and how I went through that process. And that'll be in the next video. So be sure to stay up to date with the YouTube channel. I'll send that out on the socials, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. And then if you're on the email list, that video will be emailed to you there as well. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I cannot wait for my book to be in your hands before the end of 2024. Take care.